Now, welcome to the second part of the class. We are still under the topic transport system. In the previous class, we looked at this section 2, in which we discussed the transport system in plants. But in this particular class now, we are going to be looking at the transport system in human. Like I said earlier on in the last class, we discussed about that of plant and what are the materials that needed to be transported and then to move from one part of the plant to the other. And that has been done with thoroughly. If you missed that particular class, I encourage you to go to that, check the other videos on this particular channel. And if you're on Facebook also, you can check on the comment section. Maybe you will see a link. You're going to be seeing the link that will take you to the first video. And don't forget to actually make sure you comment and your view. If you have any other question, drop it. If it is on WhatsApp, message me, and if it is on Facebook, make sure you drop your question and I will attend to it with no time. God bless you. Let's dive into the class. The learning objective of this particular one is what? At the end of the lesson, you'll be able to describe and explain the function of the three main transport systems in human. That is the heart, the blood vessel, and the blood. Understand part of the heart and the double circulatory system involved. All this will be discussed in details. Make sure you stay to the end of this class. And if you need any question, drop at the comment section. And if you find it very educative, don't forget to make a very beautiful comment. God bless you as we do that. God will go with us. Understanding the function of artery, vein, and capillary, and briefly describe area where they are found. Briefly describe different parts of the blood and how blood acts as a transport medium. This is very interesting class, and I encourage you to sit down, get a pen and paper, and put some things down. Jola, if you are here right now, I will expect you to jot some things down because I'm going to ask questions at the end of the class. Transport system in human. The first thing is this. I discussed in the previous video what is meant by transport. That is the movement of things, the goods and services from one location to another. Excuse me. Transport simply means movement of materials. But in this aspect of human, it is referred to as circulation. Circulatory system, that is the system that involves in conveying that material from one part of the body to the other. It's what we refer to as a circulatory system. You know, they move in circle. If you look at a man's heart, they are just like a circle form. So they move in circle. That's what it means. Circulatory system is the main transport system in the human body. You can say now, they are the system that has been developed by God so that they can use to transport material such as blood from the heart to other parts of the body. That is it. Circulatory system is the main transport system in the human body. It consists of three parts. Number one is the heart, an organ which pumps blood around the body. That is the function of the heart. It pumps blood around the body. Then we have the second. The second part is the blood, a liquid which transports material. Blood is not just flow; it transports material around the body. And the third one is blood vessel, networks of tubes which carry blood around the body. When the heart pumps blood, there are vessels that carry it. That thing that carry it is what we refer to as vessels. Sorry. When the heart pumps that blood, there are parts in which it flows, which is part like a pipe. That is what we refer to as blood vessel. Networks of tubes. You can see the word tubes there, which carry blood around the body. And the details will be discussed as we go on. Now, transport system in human, the heart. Its purpose is to pump blood around the body. That is the major function of the heart. And you can see the diagram of the heart here. The heart has 4 chambers. 2 upper chambers called the right atrium. You can see it here. Right atrium. This is it. this one here, you can see now right anterior, you can see it here, and this one is right ventricle. You can see that now. Two chamber called the right anterior and the left anterior. You can see that now. This is the left anterior and this is the right anterior at this upper side. You can see this here. You can see that here. Then two lower chamber called the ventricle and the left ventricle, plural ventricles. That's the plural name, and that plural name for that anterior is atria. Note that in case of objective questions. You can see that now. You can see that now. Right ventricle and left ventricle. You can see that clearly. Then the wall down the middle of the heart that separates the left side from the right side is called septum, and this is where you can see here now, septum. You can see that. Is it? You know, the art is just like whenever people want to draw love, they normally use that diagram. You can see that now. Arch septum. So you can see that now. So that is the major part of the art. So you can see that now. Is that clear? Then transport system in human heart. You can see the heart again. The valves in the heart open and close to ensure that blood flow only in one direction. What we are trying to say here is that this valve open and close. It's just like you're opening your mouth and closing it. Open your mouth and close it. Why does it do that? Is that it makes sure that it only flow out of it. You have in the heart open and close to ensure that blood flow only in one direction. That is, once it flow out, it's closed. It can't go back again. The next thing, another one is pump out. So that is what that means. That's why you have the valve there. That's why we have the valve there, and you can see the valve now here. You can see it here, and this diagram is just a very interesting one, so that you can see how it is. Because now once it flow like this, it can't go back again. It's closed. That is what this diagram we are seeing here, and that right circle that you can see is trying to explain. Section of mammalian heart. We have these are the section. These are the diagram of the mammalian heart. What is a mammal? These are the animals that their body is covered with hair. They are mammal. You can see that now. Artery, septum, vein, artery. You can see that now. There is something I want you to understand here now. You can see that the artery, the arrow of the artery is different from the direction of that of vein. You can see that. There are the reason for that, and we'll discuss that as we get on. This is the left atrium. This is the valve. You can see that. Septum. This is the line that separates them, and left ventricle and right ventricle. Is that taken out? Right anterior, you can see that, and these are valve too. If you notice very well, the vein arrow is pointed down, and that of artery is pointed up. The details of that will be discussed as we proceed, and probably I will still come back to this section. I just want your heart to be prepared. There's supposed to be a kind of curiosity now that why is it like that? That is what I expect you, and that is why I'm actually letting you know, so that you can carry along. So that is that. That's the section of the mammalian heart. Now, transport system in human blood. We're still looking at the blood now. If you look at the heart previously, the human body has about 5 liters of blood. Blood has two functions. One, to transport material, e.g. nutrient, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and other waste substances around the body to protect us against disease. You can see that now. To transport material, that is a function of the blood, e.g. nutrient, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water substance around the body to protect us against disease. As another one, as a major two function. Blood contains red blood cell, white blood cell, platelets, and plasma. All of them have their own function. I get what I say now. The two major functions of the blood is to transport and to protect against disease. And this diagram here, you can see it shows the level of the color of the kind of blood that we see. When you see blood that flow out of human body, you always see red, but there are compartments that are made up of that, and that is why you can see this now, and that can be separated at the lab using is actually, I think, yeah, they use centrifuging machine. You can see now these are the plasma. You can see the color white blood cell. You can see it, and platelets. You can see and these are the red blood cell. The red always overshadow the rest immediately when you see them. So that is that. So that is the part of the blood again. Then blood, red blood cell. Red blood cells are called concave in shape. They are concave in shape to increase its surface area to volume ratio for oxygen absorption. That is that. Red blood cells have no nucleus, so as to pack in more oxygen. It has no nucleus, so as to pack in more oxygen. It's the one that also attracts oxygen. Then we have the red blood cell contain hemoglobin. It contains the word of hemoglobin. We are talking about the red blood cell now, which combine with oxygen and carry it around the body. That is the function of hemoglobin. Then the hemoglobin then release oxygen as it passes the cell. The oxygen is used by the cell for respiration. So that you can see that very clearly. The red blood cell then collects carbon dioxide, a waste product of respiration, by what? Diffusion. The red blood cell carry a bright red when they carry oxygen. The red blood cells are bright red when they carry oxygen. So these are the part of the blood that I want you to understand now. The red blood cell, red blood cells are biconcave in shape to increase its surface area or volume ratio for oxygen absorption. That is why it has this biconcave in shape. What is the reason? The question is that why is red blood cell in biconcave? It's to increase the surface area to volume ratio of oxygen absorption. Red blood cells have no nucleus, so as to pack in more oxygen. Red blood cells contain hemoglobin, which combine with oxygen and carry it around the body. So these are the part of the red blood cell and what I want you to actually understand here. Then the oxygen is used by the cell for respiration. That is the function, as the uses rather. And you can see the diagram of the red blood cell, how it look like here. You can see it clearly. So that is that. Then the next one is what? Red blood cell. We still continue. When oxygen is bound to hemoglobin, blood appears to be bright red. You can see bright red. At the cell where oxygen is needed for respiration, hemoglobin will release the oxygen molecule it is carrying. When oxygen is released from the hemoglobin, blood appears to be dark red. You can see the dark red now. When there is hemoglobin, when hemoglobin is being tapped, which combine with oxygen, when hemoglobin, the red blood cell contain hemoglobin, which combine with oxygen and carry it round about. When there is presence of hemoglobin, it is brightly red. You can see that here now. But when the oxygen is released, and the purpose of that is that when it tap that oxygen, it's take in to the body system. Immediately the oxygen is being flow into the blood, it become this bright red. You can see that now. And after this oxygen has been captured, the function of that oxygen in the blood is to be released into the body. When it releases, it becomes this dark red. That's what we are talking about here. Then the red blood cell then collects carbon dioxide, a waste product of respiration, by what? Diffusion. That's how the cycle continues. When it releases out the oxygen, it's collected. It's also collected the carbon dioxide so that it can take it back and as a waste product by the process called diffusion. So that is what that is that. The white blood cell, there are fewer white blood cells than red blood cells. They are colorless and are larger than red blood cell. That is why we are talking about white blood cell now. white blood cells. There are fewer white blood cells than red blood cells. They are colorless and are larger than red blood cells and have nuclei. Some white blood cells are used to fight infection. That's the major functions they are using to fight infection. They produce antibodies to kill bacteria. Antibodies, when you hear the word anti, it means against, just like we have antichrist. These antibodies, they are antigens also, that they kill bacteria in the bodies. Antibody, they fight against extra anything that has contrary to the body system. They fight against it. It's just like a soldier. It's just like a soldier that defends a community or a country. So anything that is not acceptable into the country can be referred to as a crime. So they fight against the protected antibodies. Anti-crime robbery, you can say that now. Anti-crime, that is, they fight against crime. You have the armed forces in Nigeria. For example, now I'm discussing here from Nigeria. We have the armed forces, we have the police force, the soldiers, the custom, and those things, those aspects, they are anti-criminals. They are anti-criminal, that is, they fight against criminal. This one is an antibody, they fight against any infection that wants to come into the body. Alternatively, they engulf and digest bacteria. That's another one. You can see that. You can see the white blood cell. That's it. So that is what. That is that. Then blood. White blood cell. You can say white blood cell. Bacteria. The white blood cell has a flexible shape to help it engulf disease organisms. That is, it can move just like a cloth that can use to cover something. So they can engulf. That is, it's just like you can wear a cloth in the body. So that is why you see they have this engulf. You can see they are trying to capture this thing now. Bacteria are digested inside the white blood cell. You see, this is the bacteria. This is the white blood cell. Now, this white blood cell dictates this bacteria. As it detects this bacteria, it don't like it. It wants to fight against it as an antibody. Because it's saying that an extra material is in the blood, is in the body. Now, what it does now is that it's moved. As it is moving from here, now you can see it move around it. So we want to engulf it. As it move around it like this, now you can see now from here, you can see the arrow. It move around it here. So as it move around it now it will now, bacteria are now digested inside the body. As it move around it now, it capture it. It will be digested inside it. It don't have teeth to bite. It don't have how to bite. So once it engulf it, it make it digested there. Platelets, they are tiny pieces of blood cell. They help blood to clot when we bleed. That's the function of the platelets. That's the function of the platelet. When you have an injury, you notice that as breeze blow into it, with time you will see that something like a stitches, something will want to be forming on the surface of the blood when the blood is about to be stop bleeding. It's the function of the platelet. It makes the blood clot. It just be like a cold pap. So that is what that means. Is that understand now? Is that taken? So that is what that is that. It helps the blood to clot when we bleed. Plasma is a yellow liquid made up of 95% water with dissolved substances include nutrients, glucose, amino acid, fatty acid, and mineral salt. These are the nutrients. And waste substances. It transports digested food, waste material, e.g. carbon dioxide and urea, and other material, e.g. hormones and mineral salt. That is what the plasma does. It transports digested food. And this is the plasma. You can see it. If you go to the hospital and they pass the blood, you normally see it's the one that normally remain in the pack. This is what you can see here now. Is the plasma. That's why they say is the pale yellow. Pale yellow. You can see it. That is that. As that. And looking at the percentage now, is the largest part of the blood. It's 95% water. You can see now. So that is that. Blood vessel now, transporting system in human. I want to look at the blood vessel. Looking at the blood vessel now. Blood vessel is a network of tubes carrying blood around our body from the heart to the rest of our body and then back to the heart. That's what the works of the blood vessels. And what are the blood vessels? There are 3 types of the blood vessels. That is why I wanted to go back to this video now, and you understand the arrow I was discussing previously. You still go back there and you see there are 3 types of blood vessels: the arteries, veins, and capillaries. You can see that there's the artery. You can see reddish in nature. There is a reason for that. And the capillary, where they meet, the joint of vein and artery, and this is the vein. You can see that now. Where they meet together is referred to as the capillaries. You can see that. Now, let's look at the blood vessel in details now. Function, artery, vein, and capillary. These are the 3 blood vessels. This is the function, pressure, thickness of wall, presence of valve, and diagram. You can see that now. Artery carry oxygenated blood away from the heart. You can see that now. Artery carry oxygenated blood away from the heart to other parts of the body, except pulmonary artery. You can see that now. That's what I'm trying to say now. Artery now, when you see the arrow of that artery, it will be pointed away from the heart. Why? Because it's taking it away from the heart. Vein carry oxygenated blood from the rest of the body back to the heart. If you are looking at the arrow now, it will be moving back to the heart, except pulmonary vein and capillary. Connected arteries to vein carry blood to all cells, always exchange of nutrients, gases, and waste. You can see now is the linkage. This is the linkage, and this is what I was trying to explain before previously. You can see now the artery now. You can see it is moving away from the heart. You can see away. You can see away, but the vein in. The vein is what? In. You can see that. That is what we are saying. That is what we are saying. That is what we are saying. You can see that now. Sorry for that little distraction. It's my daughter that comes in now. You can see that. You can see that now. Baby, you understand. Pressure. Under high pressure. Why is it under high pressure? Because there is a force. You know, as the heart is pumping, it is pulling it out with a force. You can see that. Under low pressure. It is under low. So you can see that now. I want you to understand this thing very well. Under high pressure, under low pressure. Now I'm going to ask you a question now before I explain this probably in the next video in details. Majorly for those that answer this question. Jola, be very attentive now. Why is it that the pressure in artery is very high? Is under high pressure, and that of vein is under low pressure? That's the question I'm asking you now, and I want the answer to be sent to my WhatsApp. And if you are on Facebook, drop the answer at the comment section, and I will have a reward for you. And if you are on YouTube, make sure at the comment section also, at the comment section, reply to it and give me the answer, so I'll come back to that to answer you individually. Now, thickness of the wall. Heavy, thick, elastic, muscular wall. Why too? Why is it having heavy, thick, elastic, muscular wall? Why is it having that? Why? So you can see now, have thick, elastic, muscular wall. Sorry for that little disturbance. Yeah. Heavy, very thin wall. Have wall which are 1 cell thick to ensure fast diffusion of substances. All this thing I'm asking a question based on that. I want to raise it very well. Thickness of wall. Why are they having heavy, thick, elastic, muscular wall? Why are they have very thin wall? Why? Have wall which are 1 cell thick to ensure fast division. Then presence of valve. No valve. Yes, to prevent the backflow of blood. There is valve to prevent the backflow, so that it will not be able to go back. Then this one is no. And this is the diagram. This is the artery. You see the artery. This is the vein, and this is the what? Capillary. So that is that. So this is a bigger picture. This is the left lungs, right lungs. This is the, you can see now, vein carry blood toward the heart. This is the vein. You can see now, it's carrying blood toward the heart. Toward the heart. You can see the arrow. It's carrying blood towards the heart. Why is the blood going towards the heart? They want to go and collect oxygen. And you can see deoxygenated blood. That is the blue. Deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated. And this one is oxygenated. Oxygenated. This one contains oxygen. Why this one acts not oxygen? So oxygenated blood is away. You can see, is away. You will see in the next diagram. You see now? Deoxygenated blood. That it is the deoxygenated the blood that acts not oxygen that is returned back to the heart. Why? They want to go and collect oxygen. And it's the vein that does that. Now look at the second one. Artery carry blood away from the heart. You can see now. This is the heart is a muscular pump. Its pump action keeps the blood circulating around the body quickly and continuously as it pumps. And this is the heart. Now you can see that the artery, the oxygenated blood was taken to the heart by the vein from the previous page here. You can see now it's taken towards the, and then that artery carry blood away from the heart. You can see now it take it away. So once this one is bringing in here, as it's coming in here, it's coming with waste product, which is the what? Carbon dioxide that will be released out. Sorry for that. Now you can see that it's taking the blood away, the artery. You can see that now, and other part of the body. And this is the what? The brain. I believe you understand. Now this is it, and this is where we refer to as double circulation. Now the capillary are very tiny blood vessel that connect the arteries to the vein. The capillary wall are 1 cell thick. This allow quick diffusion of nutrient and oxygen from the blood to the tissue cell, and blood in place with low oxygen. Our body produce more red blood cell to transport more oxygen. In place with low oxygen, our body produce more red blood cell. Blood is continually circulated around the body, transporting many substances. Blood also protect the body from disease-causing germ. You can see that now. Any question? Don't forget to ask. Blood pick up oxygen in the lungs. Blood lose carbon dioxide to the lungs. That is how it happens. Heart pump the blood rich in carbon dioxide into the lungs. You can see that blood rich in oxygen is carried into the heart by the lungs. Blood rich in carbon dioxide carried into the heart. Heart pump blood rich in oxygen to all parts of the body. Carbon dioxide leave cell and enter the blood. Oxygen leave the blood and enter body cell. You can see now. You can see the circulation now. That's the double circulation. You can see. You can see the arrow. You can see the arrow. Blood pick up oxygen in the lungs. Blood lose carbon dioxide to the lungs. As it goes into the lungs, it picks the oxygen and it loses carbon dioxide. The heart pumps the blood rich in carbon dioxide into the lungs. You can see that the heart pump into the lungs. Blood rich in oxygen is carried into the heart as it's coming from the lungs. Blood rich in carbon dioxide is carried into the heart. Heart pump blood rich in oxygen to all parts of the body after it's been collected. Carbon dioxide leaves cell and enter the blood. Oxygen leave the blood and enter the body cell. So that is that. Now, that is explain why the left ventricle has a thicker muscular wall than the right ventricle. That's a question I asked previously, and some of it I get it now. The left ventricle must pump blood at a high pressure so that blood can travel to the rest of the body. It's because of that pressure. It's because of that high, because the way it is coming. Right chamber, left atrium, right atrium, right ventricle, and left ventricle. This has been explained. You can see that now. The left ventricle must pump blood at a high pressure so the blood can travel to the rest of the body. That's why, and I asked a question similar to this. Now this is double circulation, in which I think a fresh class we used to discuss this, the way I'm seeing it. I don't want this class to be lengthy, but let's quickly rush over it now. If you can do that, just spend 30 minutes for this class. The double circulatory system of blood flow occurs when the blood enters the heart twice. The blood enters the heart twice. All animals with lungs have a double circulatory system. The cycle is heart, body, heart, lungs, heart. In contrast, fish have a single circulatory system because they do not have lungs. The cycle is heart, gills, body, heart. You can see now. Heart, gills, body, heart. Now, double circulation is much more efficient than single circulation. In fish, blood pressure goes down as it passes through capillary in gills, so it is lower and takes longer for oxygen and nutrients to get around the body. In human, the blood pressure can be increased after it has left the lungs. It is faster. Humans are more active than fish and need to produce more energy. And heart, respiratory system, lungs. In the lungs, blood pick up oxygen and lose carbon dioxide. That's the process of breathing in living organisms. That is respiration. The process of breathing. The process of breathing in animal. The air we breathe contains high concentration of oxygen and low concentration of carbon dioxide. Blood in. Lungs, this is blood in. Blood out. You can see that now. Blood in, blood out. That is oxygen. Blood in into the lungs, and this one is out. So you can see that now. It entered the heart. That double circulation. It entered the heart twice. Deoxygenated and oxygenated. Those are these. The blood flow toward the lungs contain low concentration of oxygen. Okay, this is what I just explained now. Yes. So our respiratory system. You can see that now. Look at that diagram very carefully. Look at it very carefully. Then digestive system. In the small intestine, blood pick up small digested food molecules such as glucose, amino acid, and fatty acid. As the blood flows around the body, it will distribute this food molecule to the cell that needed them. That is how digestion occurs. And digestion is the breaking down of food complex substances into the small one that is can be absorbed into the small intestine. And the small intestine blood pick up small digested food molecules such as glucose, amino acid, and fatty acid. As the blood flow around the body, it will distribute this food molecule to the cell that needed there. So that is function of what that container. The small intestine pick the digested food. Is the liver, stomach, large intestine, you can see. So, and this is esophagus. So that is that checkpoint. Identify the component of the human circulatory system. The diagram below shows a vertical section of the human heart. So label them. The A is what? The B is what? C is what? D is what? At the comment section. Jola to the WhatsApp. The diagram below shows a vertical section of the heart on human. So in which label structure does blood reach the maximum pressure? That is how we come to the end of the class. The class took us just 35 minutes despite the breaking, the disturbance at times that comes. But I believe you enjoyed this class, and if you have any question, don't forget to ask question at the comment section, at the WhatsApp, or probably on YouTube, because there are 3 channels in which I used to communicate to my students. So you can see that now. So that is what we have discussed so far. The transport, these are the learning objective, and we're able to look at it one after the other. We discussed about circulatory system, the part of the heart, and the three parts of the circulatory system: heart, blood, and blood vessels. That's it. We discussed that. Transport system in human. We discussed about the heart in details. Then we look at the heart diagram here. Then we talk about the mammalian heart section of mammalian heart. Then we talk about the blood. We talk about the blood, the red blood cell, white blood cell, platelet, and plasma. Then we see that. So all this has been discussed. They have been discussed in details. White blood cell, how they engulf. You can see that. This is a very interesting class. A very interesting class. Make sure you stick to the end. Share with different groups you belong to, so that others can benefit. And if you want to book a private section, we are always available. If you want to book a private section with your student, or you're a student, you like the class, you want your parent, then you can always contact me. I'm still, remember, humble self, Boluwaji or Jajuni, the passionate teacher with what? A legacy. The passionate teacher with a legacy. My name is Boluwaji or Jajuni, the passionate teacher with a legacy, a science teacher, a mentor. God bless you. God bless you. If you have any question, don't forget to ask. Thanks.